Hi guys, Coach Heather here. Hope you had a great long weekend. Canada's birthday. It was my birthday too. So I had a fantastic weekend. Today we're going to be talking about sleep, why it is important, roughly how much we need, and some things to help us get more of what we need in terms of sleep. We have a monthly challenge going on at Fit Buddy Bootcamp this month, and we are challenging our members to try and get the recommended 7 hours of sleep each night. We do have a handy dandy little sleep diary that I'll post on here after, just to help us track and make sure that we're hitting those numbers and trying to get as many hours in that 6 to 8 range, ideally 7, that we can every night then. So why is sleep important to us? Sleep is going to play a vital role in good health and our well-being throughout our entire life. Getting enough quality sleep at night can help protect our mental health, our physical health, our quality of life, and our safety also. So the way we feel while you're awake depends on what happens a large part of when you're asleep. During sleep, our body is working to support our brain function and maintain our physical health. In children and teens, sleep also supports growth and development. So even though most of us are grown up, we still have little ones at home to think of. And that sleep is really important as they're growing and developing, making sure that we're hitting those numbers as well. I also have another little info picture that I'm going to post as well that just lists the recommended hours of sleep for different stages of life development there. Damage that can occur from sleep deficiency, not getting enough sleep, can occur in an instant. So such as a car crash, things can be just that quick, or we can notice changes from sleep deficiency over time. So it can be quick or can be harmful to our bodies and our health, our safety over time as well. So for example, ongoing sleep deficiency can raise your risk of some chronic health diseases and chronic health problems. It can affect how well you think, react, work, learn, and get along with others. Our mood, our disposition, and our ability to work with others is all affected by that sleep deficiency or lack of sleep. Sleep also helps our brains work properly. While you're sleeping, the brain is preparing for the next day. It's forming new pathways to help us learn and remember information. If we're not getting that sleep, then our brains aren't getting that time to prepare for that learning and remembering all those good things that we're studying the next day. So we need that sleep. Studies show that a good night's sleep actually improves learning, so especially with our little ones. And it doesn't matter whether you're learning, math, how to play the piano, how to drive a car. Sleep helps enhance your learning and problem-solving skills. Studies have shown. Sleep also helps you pay attention, make decisions, and be creative. So especially important for our little ones as they're going through those school years where they're developing and learning so much that they are getting those required hours of sleep. Studies also show that sleep deficiencies alter activities in some part of the brain. If you're sleep deficient, you may have trouble making decisions, solving problems, controlling your emotions and behaviors, coping with change. Sleep deficiency also has been linked with depression, suicide, and risk-taking behavior. So again, especially with our younger ones, we want to make sure that we're getting that sleep. Children and teens that have sleep deficiencies may also have problems getting along with their peers, their classmates. They may feel angry and impulsive. They may have mood swings, feel sad and depressed, and lack motivation. They may also have problems paying attention. We talked about that before. And they may get lower grades and feel stressed. So if your little ones are struggling, have a look at how much sleep they're getting and how much quality sleep they're getting too. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can get some better sleep habits built, and sleep hygiene is what some people term it, but to prepare for a good night's rest and get those routines in order. Also physical health itself, sleep plays a big role in that. So for example, sleep involves healing and repairing, and it's going to help with the heart and the blood vessels. Ongoing sleep deficiency is linked to an increased risk of heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke. And that is going to affect us grown-ups. So again, important for everybody to get that sleep. It's going to help maintain healthy balance of our hormones that make us feel hungry or full. I am going to do another nutrition news that's going to talk about those hormones specifically. So that's ghrelin and leptin that make us feel hungry and make us feel full. And when we're not getting regular sleep, those hormones get out of whack. So when we don't get enough sleep, we start to feel hungry, we want to eat, it is hard to feel full. And I'm going to talk about that and our cortisol levels in our body during those sleep patterns. Today, I just want to get a basic talk out about why it's important, how much we need. And then in a couple of weeks, we're going to get really into it and talk about those hormone levels. So yes, that is going to make us feel hungrier than when we're well rested. Sleep also affects our body's reaction to insulin, the hormone that controls our blood glucose level or our blood sugar levels. Sleep deficiency can result in a higher than normal blood sugar level, which may increase our risk for diabetes. There's actually been quite a few different studies around that specific issue, and it is very interesting to see. They took a very small group, this one study, and they took 6 males that were in their 20s, and gave them 4 hours of sleep for 6 nights in a row, just 4 hours of sleep, so nowhere near the recommended hours. And by the end of the 6 days, all of them saw drastic changes in their numbers. But I remember the one specifically saying that their insulin levels were that of a 70-year-old diabetic, just because it had changed their hormone levels so much within such a short time. So just something to be aware of, that it is affecting a lot of systems and hormones and everything in our body when we're not getting that sleep. Our immune system relies on sleep to stay healthy. This system defends our body against foreign and harmful substances. Ongoing sleep deficiency can change the way in which our immune system responds. So for example, if you're sleep deficient, you may have trouble fighting common colds and common infections, more so than somebody who is getting the recommended number of hours of sleep. Daytime performance and safety. So getting enough quality sleep at night helps you function well throughout the day. People who are sleep deficient are less productive at work and school. They take longer to finish tasks, have a slower reaction time, and make more mistakes. After several nights of losing sleep, even if it's just 1 to 2 hours per night, your ability to function suffers as if you haven't slept at all in a day or two. So it is cumulative. Getting short on that hour or two every night, if that is repeated, it is going to add up. And as I just mentioned, if it's just an hour or two after a few consecutive nights of that kind of sleep pattern, you are going to be acting as if you haven't had sleep in a night or two. So it does add up. It is cumulative. Lack of sleep can also lead to microsleep. I've heard people call these micro naps as well, but microsleep refers to that brief moment of sleep that you have when you should normally be awake. You can't control microsleep. You might not be aware of it. So for example, if you've ever driven a car and then you kind of snap out of it, or you are listening to a lecture in school and all of a sudden you snap out of it and you don't know what they just said, that is microsleep, and we cannot control that. In reality, though, you've actually slept through part of what has just happened. So even though you may not have closed your eyes and laid down, you have just had a quick little nap. People aren't aware of the risks of sleep deficiency. In fact, they may not even realize that they're sleep deficient. Even with limited or poor quality sleep, they may still think that they're functioning well. But we do see those differences when we are not getting the hours that we need. So there are several factors to consider if we're going to create a sleep pattern. So things that we want to try and put in place to help us get that rest that we need. So consistency. Try to keep relatively consistent bedtime and wake time if we can. I know specifically for shift workers, this is extremely difficult. But if we can, we want to get a routine in place so that we're going to bed and waking up at relatively the same time. Light is also an issue. So our body wants to be asleep when it's dark, and it wants to be awake when it's light. So if we can, get some, especially with summer right now, get some room darkening blinds or some curtains. Keep the bedroom dark, and that's going to tell your body's light-sensitive clock that it is time to sleep. Noise. We want to keep the bedroom quiet, or use some sort of noise generator, such as a fan, especially right now in summer, to block out some of that noise that might be keeping your body awake from time to time. So consistency, light, noise. Another one, a relaxation routine. So develop a pre-bed routine that is relaxing and familiar. So television work, computer use, movies, deep stressful discussions late at night, they're going to disrupt your sleep patterns. So we want to have something relaxing and routine. Actually, Coach Vanjie and I were just talking about this. She has an app that she uses on her phone that takes her through a bedtime stretching routine. So she just plays it through the app, and it's a voice, nice calming, relaxing voice telling her to breathe. Flex this, release. Flex that, release. So some meditation. There are lots of different apps out there. So have a look on your phone, on Google Play or whatever it is you use, and have a look for some bedtime routine apps and see what you can find. They say about 2 weeks to see if it's actually going to work for you. So give it a try, give it a chance, and see if it's something that is going to help you establish these sleep patterns, these sleep routines that are going to help in the long run. Temperature is another one to consider. So keeping a slightly cool temperature in the room between 66 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit is what they recommend. In terms of Celsius, that would be about 18 to 22. In that range is what's recommended. Of course, everybody's different. You may want something a little warmer, a little cooler, but that is what's recommended in terms of range. Another thing we need to think about is stimulants. So eliminate those stimulants prior to bed. So caffeine, nicotine, especially later in the day and especially close to bedtime, we want to be eliminating those. Exercise, not only good for your tight butts and your big guns, but it can help improve the sleep as well. So getting some exercise in, tiring the body, getting it ready to rest and recover. So getting some exercise in. Again, summer, great time for this. Even if it's a light walk after dinner or a jog earlier in the morning, whatever fits into your schedule, but definitely want to be exercising during the day. Another thing too that's going to affect sleep is fullness. So eating a dinner that makes you overly full can disrupt your sleep pattern as well. So just being mindful of a few of those things, tinker with them, have a thought of what we're really doing here. I know a lot of people might have a coffee after dinner, and now that we have some nicer weather out, we're eating a little bit later sometimes, or maybe we're out on the patio, we're having that after dinner coffee, and it's not helping us when we do need to get that sleep. So just a couple things to be mindful of. Good sleep is crucial for our health, and there are no shortcuts. I know there are lots of things out there on the internet that say sleep hack and things like that. There is no shortcut. The body remembers. It keeps count. So just be mindful of some of the recommendations out there and some of the things, some of those gimmicks to try and shortcut. But there is no shortcut. We need our sleep, and we need to make it a priority. Your physical, your mental, your emotional well-being will all thank you for getting that 7 hours of sleep minimum. And we need to think about it, good sleep as being a 24-hour process. So what you do during your waking period is also going to affect that sleep period, and vice versa. So being mindful of what we're doing during the rest of the day is going to help lead to good quality sleep in the other hours of those days. We need to reinforce our natural circadian needs. So when it's supposed to be dark and quiet, make sure that things are dark and quiet, right? We talked about temperature, we talked about light, we talked about noise. So try and set your bedroom up free of clutter, nice and quiet, dark, in that temperature range that's going to work for you, keeping a little bit on the cool side, and hopefully we get a good night's sleep then. Give your body some mind transition time. So most people recommend about 30 minutes, preferably an hour, but a good 30 minutes in the evening to slowly wind down and prepare for sleep. So for a lot of us, it might be, a warm Epsom salt bath or a quick shower, brush your teeth, brush your hair, maybe read a book for a little bit, just depending on what your routine is, but allowing your body to transition and your mind to transition too. A lot of times we get caught up in the hustle and bustle and everything's hectic. We need to slowly unwind. You can't just go, and then boom, bedtime. You have to have a nice routine to help make that transition. So they recommend 30 minutes, up to an hour though, with that transition time, but that's establishing a routine. It's not 30 minutes to just lie there in bed and slowly transition. It's just mindfully being aware that you are preparing for bed, brushing your teeth, having that, wash your face, have a shower, whatever it is, getting your jammies on, but letting the mind know and the body know that you are getting ready for rest. and stick to that routine. Bodies love routine and consistency. That's why sometimes it's hard to see those results in the gym, because our bodies, they love routine. They love consistency. So establishing that routine is really going to affect that sleep pattern and getting those numbers. And just being mindful, you can't always control your actual sleep, but you can control your sleep behaviors and your environment. So taking charge of your actions and surroundings, being consistent, is going to help you get a good night's sleep and have more control over those sleep patterns. So again, I am going to be getting in further into hormone levels, stress levels, things like that with sleep in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. If you guys do have any specific questions that you want me to talk about during that nutrition news coming up in a couple of weeks, listen below, let me know, send a message. Chances are you're not the only person that has this question. So let me know if there's anything you do want me to touch on. I'm also going to be posting on our Facebook page here, the fan book page, little tidbits over the course of the month, because as I mentioned, that is our at-home weekly or monthly challenge for July, is to try and get those 7 hours of sleep throughout the month of July. So I'm going to be putting up little facts, little fun tidbits about sleep, things like that. Van is coming back from maternity leave, as you know, so her youngest is just over a year old, so she is still going without sleep. And I did read, one of our fun little facts was that over the course of the first 2 years, parents can be shorted by up to 6 months of sleep that their body needs. Sounds a little crazy, but we've all been there. I know when my two were little, I went through the same thing. So just being mindful of things like that. But I'm going to throw in some fun facts up. And then if you guys have any questions, just let me know. In terms of what's going on at boot camp this week, we have a couple of really fun things happening. Great boards, great session plans coming up all week long. On Friday, we do have our theme day happening. It is a show and tell. So what we're asking you guys to do on Friday when you're coming into boot camp, wear something that makes you proud, that you want to show off. So maybe, you were in the 7K trail run that Kincardine put on last year. Wear your shirt, or you volunteered at this, or you helped out with that, or your family does this every year. They go to this camp. Wear your shirt that makes you proud. Maybe your kids made you a beaded necklace or something. Bring it in. You have a medal from something. We are going to have an old school show and tell. Bring in something that you're proud of that you want to share with everybody. That is going to be happening Friday all day long. And then on Saturday, the Kincardine Women's Triathlon is happening in town here. And we're going to have a little try going on at the gym too. So biking, swimming, running, inspired movements to get you going through that board on Saturday. We do on the 15th, that's not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday following, have our beach workout coming up. And that's going to be open to family and friends to come and join us down at Station Beach. And then the following Saturday, that's the 22nd, we're going to have another Fit Ranks Challenge going on. So lots of good stuff coming up on the gym. If you guys have any questions, let me know, let your coaches know. And other than that, I will see you again next week, guys, okay? Take care. Have a great day.